Peace and power. Very good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome to our broadcast. Ringsiders, welcome to all of you. Happy that you guys could be here with us. This Monday, folks, the 19th day of May, believe it or not, I have to check it for myself. The 19th day of May. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button. How are you folks doing? What went on to the National Tush Council Conference today? Apparently a lot. The ducks were there. The fowls were there. Folks were locked out, locked in. What's going on, folks? Every year for the last 4 or 5 years, every year, drama at the NTC, the NTCC, National Tush Council's Conference, annual conference, was off today to a fantastic start. Then enter Irfaan, stage left. How you folks doing? Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Wherever you're joining us from, Mark and Jacqueline and Everett, Edward, Stacy, and good to have you, Andrew Griffith, and all the other folks joining us tonight. Wherever you're joining us from, folks, we're happy that you folks are here with us. We're fired up and we're ready to go at ease, folks, as you are. Good to have you. Who me? On the live, folks. On the live, the gravy, the duck, everybody. The gravy was there, the duck, the fowl, the hen. Everybody was there at the NTCC. Good to have you. Everett says loud and clear. You're the only one ever looking out for us. You're the only one looking out for us, and that's why that ring was just for you, Everett. That ring and this one. Peace and power. Good to have all of you here with us, nonetheless. Where are you joining us from? Volme, Brenda, Beryl, Stacey, and Kwana, Edward. Great to have each and every one of you. 900 of you already on the live, and before we wrap up, we know we can get somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000. We're humble and grateful. Yeah, thank you, folks. Pat yourselves on the back. It's not because of me, it's because of you all. The PVPs watching, take notes. Shirley, good to have you on the live. Shirley, Roxanne. I see Jamal is here as well. Volme, Wanella. How are you folks doing? Justice for Adriana. Justice for Adriana. Yeah. People thought she'd been in the ground by now, and this matter would have been phasing out. No. Justice for Adriana Young, 11 years old, 23rd of April. Went missing on a double day there in Tushen. They said she wasn't there. She left in a black and red Ram. You remember that? Lies of the police force, lies of the Ghana government, and Irfaan Ali got the temerity. Before he focused on the things that matter, he went with duck and gravy and all of that. When he was being fired around the duck and gravy van, he didn't know that. You see, he didn't know that. The PPP is so hypocritical. It's so ludicrous. The PPP. Say more PPP. Andrew, how y'all living in? Gladys, Sharon, good to have all of you. Patricia, Marlon, Deborah, good to have all of you on the live tonight. Paulette, we see you there too. And all the other special folks who are joining us. Such a privilege to be here. I wish some of y'all would take the seats some nights and you all go and get you relaxed. Y'all has been a grueling 4 years, 9 months. We're out here. November's 5 years. Oh, we're entitled to a little rest too. We're not entitled to a little rest too. Brothers and sisters, a good evening to all of you. Welcome. The opener. We got the fight card set. Folks, it's set. We're fired up, and we are ready to go. How are you guys doing now? It's so good to see all of you on the live tonight. Let's start with the opener. Something to, get the palates. Get the palates with a certain kind of expectation. Something to get the palates open. The opener, folks, that's what we call it. To set the stage. Amanda Walton is here. Enter stage left. Please and thank you. And she reminds us, Justice for Adriana calling out Irfaan Ali. All the failures of the Ghana police force and this government. Failures top to bottom. Top to bottom. Who don't know? Who no? That's right, telling you. Put it back for all you now. Who no? Good folks. Gentle folks. The opener. Amanda Walton is here. Laying it out for us. Take a look.
Member of Parliament Amanso Walton Desirous challenged a dismissive attitude of President Irfaan Ali over the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young.
So how dare Irfaan have an attitude about this?
Yeah.
Your police force lied. And not only lied, tried to actively move the people away from the place. How dare you be upset because they don't trust you? You have done everything in your power to make sure that they don't trust you.
Yes.
And these people have not done anything illegal, you know. These people have been operating within the bounds of the law. How dare you say to a parent, you can go no further for justice for your child?
She said that it's the right of the parents to seek as many autopsies as they desire.
Were we in their shoes, we would have done the same and probably more for our children. These people are operating within the confines of the law. They have retained an attorney because they obviously do not and cannot trust the state. So an attorney has to look after their interests. And that is the simple matter of it. And the state has a duty to provide them with whatever support they require, particularly given the nature of this case and particularly because this is a case that has garnered international attention.
She said that the government should act better.
Yep. There's where we are, folks. There is where we are. The government should act better. Where's the lie? Where is the lie, folks? Where is the government should act better? No, but they're more high-handed. I've done all I said I would do. I've done all I said I would do. Told you I'll get Scotland Yard. Take a retiree. I have done all I said I would do. Yeah. Same BBP. Same Irfaan. You know? We're looking back at some previous NTC speeches. NTC, National Tush Council Conference. This annual event. We've been looking back at a couple of the last 4 years. And Irfaan seems to be coming back and promising some of the same things over and over again. He seems to have that knack. You know, you want to trust the folks, but guys, they're a little slippery. I don't know how to say it. Right? As a matter of fact, they're plenty slippery. So we got a couple of things we want to run by you guys, including what transpired today with the duck and the gravy and the cow and the hen and the bull. And it's a lot of bull today. Right? It was more bull than gravy, but you know it's them boy. You know it's them boy you deal with. And you know what I'm worried about? Is the ease at which Irfaan Ali dabbles in religion, especially Christianity. I thought I saw the ERC calling out folks quite recently, calling out folks for making light of people's religion. Right? You know, I know Irfaan Ali is a Muslim, and I say respect and manners for that. You know, I have never made light of anybody else's religion, and I don't intend to start now. And that is why I feel if this thing don't belong to you, leave it alone. Right? Christianity doesn't belong to you, leave it alone. The ease in which he goes into his rhetoric, using Christianity, using the tenets of Christianity, it bothers me a little bit, to be frank. You know, it mightn't bother the 7 days, it mightn't bother the Pentecostal folks. It bothers me a little bit. You know, as a Pentecostal, one of the Pentecostal folks, it bothers me just I can't lie to you. It bothers me a little bit, folks. The ease at which anybody else recognize that with dotting some I's and crossing some T's at the back end. You know, anybody else recognizes that? I mean, like, does it bother anybody else? It is only me. I'm bothered a little bit by that. All right, I dare say. Let me pull back a little bit. Folks, it's not a little bit. I'm bothered plenty. like you see, I'm black. All right. Let me admit, I'm bothered plenty. Right. I don't know if I could say it. I don't know how to say it. I'm bothered plenty. The ease at which he goes in and comes out, it bothers me. 2,000 of you already joined us. Deborah, you've ever heard it? Christine says he's a false prophet. All right, Cheryl, Wilma, Colleen, It's bothering me a little bit, Please and thank you. We got a couple of things we want you lovely folks to know about, and then we can circle back to the NTCC, the National Tush Council's Conference, an annual event decided today. Right? The annual for 2025 started today. Auntie Sandra, who me, Stacy, and all the other folks, Sherwin, Hazel. Good to have all of you on the live tonight. So we're going to circle to some of that, folks. We're going to circle to some of that. You know them boys is. The NTC. It's like annual farm today. It's not supposed to be like that. But for just a little bit, guys, today, it had a little animal farm-esqueness to it. But we're watching it. We're watching it, folks. And we're watching them boys as well. How y'all doing? Good to see each and every one of you on the live tonight. Good to have all of you here with us. And as I said, a couple of things, not plenty. Tis the season. And that is why, good folks, you all are seeing a lot of this flitting about by the PPP. Like some bats flitting about. Right? What don't happen in a year, it happens in a day. You all Jack, you don't go on the ground. You all know he's not a grunks, man. Right? You all are tired now. Enter Irfaan. Irfaan don't go on the ground because he like going on the ground. He goes on the ground because he's sent. You gotta go. So when you see the vice president on the ground, right, take that as a test of the temperature. Right? Take it as a test of how hot things are. Today, for instance, catch my birthday, we saw the vice president on the ground. Good folks. So of course, we were shook it. Of course, we were shook it. And what was he doing on the ground? All right? Some of you may ask, what was he doing on the ground? Some of you may ask. Well, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. Taking my time and peeling my pain. All right? Thank you for asking. Well, he was all on the East Coast talking to some fishermen. Y'all know he don't go up on no ground. What's a ground for he? You said the man looking up at the stars, he looking for the answer. This is custom sea. He's not that he is there. But they're getting pressure on all fronts. And again, they're trying to blunt the momentum that you see building against them. That's what's happening here. The man be tail on the ground, you see, went at over on the East Coast talking with fishermen. Right? Talking to fishermen who asked for the area to be dredged. Now, listen to me, you understand why systems in this country, good folks, brothers and sisters, you all understand why systems in the country don't work? Let me show you how systems in this country does not work. No, systems do not work. Sorry, my subject and my verb gotta agree. Right? They do not work. Listen, I want you to understand what's happening here. Right? You understand why the man is looking to the stars? It's pickling the tail, Pickling, look, from when's the answer coming? Pickling the story. Look, sorry. These men. What is election? Election coming, that's number one. Two, imagine fishermen from Ogle, brothers and sisters, let me give myself a little room here. Fishermen from Ogle, Vishal, Gale, Leicester, Wilmer, Thomasina. Ogle is not North Rupert. Ogle is not Deep South. It's not Anai. Ogle is hop and skip out of the capital. As a matter of fact, Ogle is just outside of the city. And fishermen got left Ogle to go to Freedom House, to ask for some outfall, some channel to be clean, to be dredged. Right? You all understand where we are here? They're going to go so far. Freedom House, not Ministry of Agriculture, Freedom House. And for such a simple problem, a whole vice president, right, they want a fisherman called Mohammed, or whoever else, called Nigel, called Aubrey, so you run down. He don't even know if catch a net, he worry from Patois. Yeah, he don't know fish on the whole. Right? That is a fish man. Now he a fish with boxy crazy head. You know? I love fish. The fish melts in your mouth. You got a good piece of thick fish. Heaven. He don't know about that. But pressure make water go uphill. Pressure bust pipe. You see, so they're feeling it. They're feeling it. Leon and Avril, Wilma, Grace, Maxine. It's election time. You can imagine Deborah, Carlin, Dion, how many systems got to fail for fishermen right by Ogle, wherever it is. I don't know. This student, I know not from Saudi. Fishermen to left Ogle. You know how many systems got to fail? For the bypass, Ministry of Agriculture for St. John Road. You got to pass the St. John Road to go down to Freedom House to make a complaint that the place need cleaning. See, y'all know two things tonight. All the poles in the PAP falling down, and they don't like fish. Right? Anybody asks you, tell them you heard it here first. All the poles in the PAP fall down, and they do not like fish. Right? So he went out there reluctantly because he knows he got some young upstairs cleaning the clock right now, Cleaning the clock right now. So there it is. One of the things we thought we ought to share with you. Yeah. You don't like Alice in Wonderland. Looking up at the stars. A fish is just a big, thick piece of fish, just boxy, grassy head. That being said, folks. That being said, let's touch on a couple of things happening international, and then we're gonna circle back to Irfaan Ali and the dog thief. We're gonna circle back. Yeah, finally. I think it take a dog thief to not dog thief. Of all the things I think you could ascend the as the Muhammad said, I think the sacred stage, the National Tush Council Conference 2025. Talk about dog thief. I keep waiting for an inspiring sentence, paragraph. I've been waiting for 4 years, 9 months, and counting. So we can circle back here, folks. Circle back here. The Americans are playing. Right? You one little visa cancellation. Right? An option that was exercised for social media influencer Odessa Primus. And 40 journalists by the airport. And here is the US imposing visa bans. And listen to this. Injured travel agents for facilitating illegal migration. Right. They're associated with no sanctioned person. Do business, quote unquote, with them. Nothing of the sort. But you're hearing of visa bans and for folks that the United States perceive have facilitated illegal migration. This is according to the US State Department, which has imposed these restrictions. They say on unnamed owners and staff of India-based travel agencies that they've accused of knowingly facilitating illegal migration to the great United States. This was announced today by Tammy Bruce, right, a spokesperson for the State Department. They said they've been gathering information and evidence from the U.S. mission in India. I wanted to see when Charinas they get fired by the dog. I wonder what it made of that. A whole high commissioner dismissed by a stray dog. Dismissed. Is Great Britain getting back into the EU? Remember Brexit? Remember the exit from the EU? Right. Britain today agreed to trade and defense, a trade and defense reset to the EU. I think, I got to hear Ronald Lawson Jr. on this. Right. They're watching what's happening there with Putin, They're watching what's happening there with Maduro and China and that whole connection there. They say, you know what? Bregs who? Let's head back. Let's head back. And so today, the United Kingdom and the European Union agreed to what they're calling the most significant reset of their defense and trade relations since Brexit. And this, the pundits are saying, marks a major policy shift driven by global instability. And they say the impact of former US President Donald Trump's isolationist policies, every man for himself. Every man for himself. So there's that on the one side. And then they're seeing what's happening in other areas of Europe. People got to make a decision. Right? They said this New Deal is not something. New Deal is Roosevelt. This New Deal for the UK, spearheaded by the British Prime Minister, includes joint defense procurement, streamlined food trade, a new fishing agreement, mind you, a new fishing agreement, ease of travel for UK citizens, among other things. Somewhat we following, folks. I saw today the Sudanese President Chandrika Prasad Santokhi. He says they're on the cusp of signing this deal for the bridge. The bridge. Interestingly, he said it was supposed to sign now, but we ain't quite ready. This sounds so familiar. Oh, like the licenses for the fishermen. Like the fishing licenses for the fishermen. He said we're not quite ready yet to sign the deal. It sounds as though them boys must say Irfaan back again. Because Santokhi has elections on Sunday. We got elections too. So them boys want sign every big. They're supposed to be throttling down. Not getting into any big international agreement now and so on till after the election. Right? But of course, they don't have too much to show for the 4 years, 9 months. So anything we'll do now, all the rules and conventions are out the window. So I might slip that in. So Santokhi saying that agreement supposed to be signed now, but it's not quite ready. Another week or weeks. Yeah. He's not even bothering with Irfaan. President of Suriname. Not even bothering with Irfaan. As we come closer to things home, brothers and sisters, you and I were here together when we saw the government sign an agreement with the GPSU, that union led by Patrick Yard, the GPSU, right? And we thought to ourselves, when did this go down? The PPP rolled that out. It kept the union very quiet, and then it rolled out this agreement that hammered out with the Ghana Public Service Union. Right? And now we see the union crying out that the government chinks in. It hasn't come full. What? Right? Same old PPP. The promises they want the paper and the ink that they put it on. Same old PPP. Same old PPP. So they're crying out now. What has happened to our deal? What has happened to our arrangement? And then look, the bureaucracy. You know, somebody can say, oh, tap the heat and send it back over, sir. Go wrong, sir. So the government of Guyana, they had inked, they had brokered 2 multi-year agreements aimed at improving workers' relations, right? Welfare and industrial relations, right? And people are asking, what's going on? Right? When this thing is happening, when this thing is being operationalized, a lot of things get inked. When is it going to be operationalized? So the union crying out, the GPL asking for a fair share and shake. Right? They're asking for their piece of the pie as well as they deserve. We have watched one segment of this society increases, raises, bonuses. That's the inclusive governance that our partners talk often about. That's not so. Everybody wants their piece of the pie. But alas, with this government, it's friends, it's family, and it's favorites. That's what it's about. Friends, family, and favorites. Good folks, enter the National Tush Council Conference, which began today. You had about 300 people on the line, no doubt, listening to hear. What inspiration can they draw from Irfaan Ali? Well, it wasn't to be today. It was not to be had today. Perhaps tomorrow. We have until the end of the week. Congrats to our indigenous brothers and sisters. They've separated themselves in this way to be able to cogitate on how far they've come, where they're coming from, and you know what? How far they have to go as well. They're pondering on these issues under the theme robust governance for a sustainable village development. For sustainable village development. Robust governance. What they're getting is canter. What they're getting is thin. People out here and they're looking thin. As I said to you, I will share some of it with you, perhaps if not this evening, quite soon. Some of the other promises that were made in other NTCs last year, the year before that, perhaps the year before that as well, since they come in. And you'll see these promises today look eerily similar to ones that have been made. But this is the kind of government we have. Is it the kind of government we deserve? You will be able to determine that in another couple months. A couple mornings and a couple moons. So make sure you got your ID card, your name on the list and so on. Listen to me, folks. All of these things on the ballot. Believe it or not, don't get vexed with them ordinarily like that. Right? That time is going to come when you got the power in your hand to make a historic difference in this country. Will we rise to the occasion, or will we, shrink to it? I think it's the former. Something tells me it's the former. So I saw the National Tush Council's chair doing his own bit of politicking. Saying let good sense prevail, vote PPP. Isn't that what he said? Might as well. Mr. John had said that. Derek John, the chairman of the NTC, calling indigenous leaders today to exercise their democratic right in the upcoming 2025 general and regional elections. Oh, that was what the conference was about? That's what it's about. Y'all see the campaigning on the NTC stage. Y'all see that? So Derek, who is PPP, cannot allow them, to have an independent thought. In their own deliberate judgment, he come out full. He said, listen, let the good times roll. Rock and come in. All right, I get a nice time here. I think y'all get a nice time too. But I think our indigenous brothers and sisters know the truth. Folks, if you all have been with us here for the last 4 years, 9 months, even less time than that, you've heard us articulate numerous occasions the challenges our indigenous brothers and sisters face, right? Especially where their livelihoods are concerned. Our indigenous brothers and sisters are filthy rich. Mineral wealth beneath their feet, but they can't touch it. The government sends people to mine on their lands. You see? What do they get? Crumbs. I want to see the day we have our indigenous millionaires, billionaires. Well, indigenous people can't spend money. So they got gold beneath their feet and other minerals, you see? But the leeches, the vipers, without prior, informed consent, whatever they call it. They're sent to mine and dig out everything from the earth. Right? And to leave our brothers with husk. They're going to change. They're going to change. And places like Tasawini, and all of them, Morodi Mountain. You can call some of these places challenges to indigenous brothers and sisters in mining. And that's only part of it. Right? Our indigenous brothers and sisters, they have to be more than just an X on a paper. More than that. And I'm happy that they're deciding they're more than that. Thankfully. So the NTC chairman, Derek John, doing his own bit of politicking. We see you, Derek. We see you. And then you got the gambler, Pauline Sukai. Pauline, you're gambling with people's lives now. You remember Pauline, Bright Smile Pauline, Alien Pauline. Pauline said the Amerindian leaders are urged to speak up about the progress and challenges. But when they speak up, it's victimization to Pauline. So you got to pick a struggle. Pauline, you got to pick a struggle. When our indigenous brothers and sisters speak up, it's something else. It's another story. I remember. Do you remember? One former head of state, he said, Jagdi went in with a slap you. You remember that? That's not so long ago. I remember another PP leader. He said, if y'all do XYZ, y'all not welcome in my office. I resign as a government minister. Y'all are not welcome. You see that? Obstinate nature. Check that. Well, he got feedback in real time. So folks, our indigenous brothers and sisters, they are meeting. They're supposed to be charting their own course. But the heavy politics of the incumbents, the heavy politics, folks, long time gone, short time come. Long time gone, short time come. Enter Irfaan Ali. Like I said, when we listen to lots of the measures, he was trying to drum up a kind of support. It didn't take off too much. When we listen to some of them that were rehearsed, these things sound very, very familiar. Very, very familiar. Right? Here's our brother Adam Harris telling us some of what took place today at the National Tush Conference. Our brother Adam Harris. Take a look, folks. Adam Harris. Take a look. Take a listen.
Tush House Conference opened today, Monday, at the National Convention Center, Turkey and East Coast, Demerara. Derek John, Tush of Maracobai and chairman of the National Tush House Council, called on the Tush House to make use of the days of the conference.
Guyana presently are experiencing one of the most exciting periods in our country's history. There are so many resources that are filtering out directly into indigenous communities. And I had the opportunity to visit a lot of our hinterland communities. I'm amazed. And that speaks volume for us.
The feature address at the conference was delivered by President Irfaan Ali.
This government has consistently demonstrated that we don't only listen, we consistently deliver on what we promise. And that is important. It is important to know that you have leadership that is respectful enough to honor its commitment to you.
He said that the government is pursuing the road to prosperity for the Amerindian community.
We cannot afford to lose sight of what is important for you, your communities, and your village. And I assure you that this People's Progressive Party civic government that I proudly stand and represent here would never ever abandon that road of prosperity for you and your villages.
He expressed his gratitude to the men and women who are defending the borders.
I want you to give them a resounding round of applause so they can know that we are with them in love and spirit. But importantly too, I want to thank all of you, especially those who live on the border communities, for your vigilance, for your vigilance, for your strong protection, for your patriotism, for your strength of character, for you who stand up every day on the border, raising our golden arrowhead high and strong.
He also extended gratitude to the international partners. The president also pledged to continue the efforts to give land title to the Amerindians.
We will continue to create more job opportunities. And you know you can trust us with that. Not only have we reinstated the CSOs, but we have created new businesses, new entrepreneurs, nurses, doctors, teachers, lawyers over the last 4 years. And you can depend on us to continue along this pathway. We've invested in technology, connectivity, and you can depend on us to continue this investment.
The conference would be conducted over 5 days.
President Irfaan Ali, laying it out there, folks. You know, I wish the conference was about those people he identified. He said, we've created teachers and doctors and nurses and lawyers in the indigenous communities. I wish we had them on show. I wish there was less talk from Irfaan Ali and more talk from the Tush House. We could hear directly from them. We heard from the chairman, Derek John, we heard from Irfaan. But we don't hear often from the Tush House themselves. You hear from John View, you hear from Paulie, everybody else, but the Tush House themselves. But folks, Ashraf Mohammed did not attend the Tush House conference, but apparently he loomed large over this National Tush House Council Conference 2025. You know, we heard Irfaan go into storytelling. So y'all have this thing work out. You know, you gotta fall back. This is butterfly man. This is a moonwalk man. He's a storyteller too. Right. I can see a one man. You go with the butterfly, then you storytell, and then you close out with the moonwalk and the shine shot. You know, enter Ashraf Mohammed. The man told a story. Everybody knew who the reference was for. Everybody knew who the reference was aimed at. You know, had a fantastic story about country life and duck and all kind of gravy and all kinds of things. Like Irfaan is you. You know, Irfaan is you. Right? It wasn't fitting for this high occasion when we really wanted and still do to hear from our indigenous brothers and sisters. Anybody got no time to listen to Irfaan here too? He's not a Tush House. Huh? Is he? Take a look.
Joke. I'm not good at jokes, but let me try. But this is not a joke. This is a fact. I want to ask the leader something this morning. Growing up, the Prime Minister, Anil, actually your countryman, I don't know if you're a countryman, but those who grew up in the countryside, there are stories of neighbors stealing neighbor duck or fowl. And when the neighbors steal the neighbor duck and fowl, why are you laughing? What they will do is that they will cook the duck and fowl, and they will give the neighbor who they stole from some of the gravy. Now today we have a more scientific approach to this thing. Some people are coming in the name of philanthropy. But it's the same concept. They come in the name of philanthropy. They steal 10 million US dollars, which is how much billion? $10 billion. No, you're bringing this thing down. You're calculating the interest and the penalty. But imagine you steal. Oh my, you're slow on this thing. Imagine you steal $10 billion. You didn't pay $10 billion in your taxes. And then you decide, I love you. I am now in philanthropy. And I give you some gravy. That makes sense? You ain't giving no meat or no bone. You're giving the gravy. And then you say, it's philanthropy. My God, have mercy on thy soul. That is not philanthropy. That is exactly what it is, the old-time dog thief. I mean, it's a statement of fact. Let us be real for one moment. Let us be real for one moment. Your development and our development is at stake. This is not guesswork. This is a daily grind. You know it as leaders in your community. Let us not gamble our future away.
Yeah. That's what he said, folks. I mean, like, where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? And that's not politicking. That's not hijack the National Tush House Council Conference. Hijacked it. But dog thief. But dog thief. What I'm happy about is that the Mohammeds didn't play. After the Mohammeds fired back. Laser sharp focus. Fired back. I can read all of it. The last line for me was very, very instructive. What they said in a statement that they put out. The last line was tremendously, tremendously instructive. Right? Because Azruddin Mohammed says, he says that it's clear who cooking. You all know what I mean? It's clear who firing. You all know we cook it with gas. It is clear who cooking. Right? Who is afraid to have their goose cooked? Who is afraid to have their duck cooked? He said it's clear. And then he goes on to say, and it's clear also, who is nervous about the gravy. I love this country. I love it. It's clear who cooking. Who is afraid their goose is cooked. Right? And who is getting nervous about the gravy. I love this country. You had 5 other paragraphs before that, but that was the line that stuck out to me. Dog thief Irfaan? No. You're afraid to get your goose cooked. And chances are you get it cooked. That's why we see our boy Jack Joe run out. Came in out today, Ghana. Fishermen right at Ogle. Had to meet Freedom House to get the channels clear. Systems in function in this country. Goose can get cooked. Last of them boys in a flurry now. In a flurry, flitting and flourish. And flurry. Flitting about the place. Yep. It was the last line for me, folks. I love it. It was the last line for me. They getting nervous. It's clear who cooking. Who's cooking? Who's afraid their goose is getting cooked? Right? And who is nervous about the gravy? It's clear as day. Clear as day, folks. Ain't it so? Tis the season. Good, folks. Tis the season. Let's wrap it up. And let's wrap it up. The lines will change. So you see this police in the country? Investors. Nice review says, you see the police in this country? Yeah? Investors, you better rethink what you're doing. You better rethink what you're doing. That's what the lines will change. That's what the lines will change. Said recently, folks, at one of the press conferences, you better. This police force said, justice. Adriana Young, watch them, justice. Adriana Young.
Since a change, Nigel Hughes told a press conference on Friday that given the refusal of the police to act in the interest of the populace, they should target the international financiers.
It is clear to every citizen that the Guyana Police Force can no longer protect or is committed to investigating. There is a minister that is responsible to the National Assembly for the operations of the Guyana Police Force. And since the Guyana Police Force and the government, by its refusal to take this seriously, the next step is for me to go where the money is. And that is to begin to speak to the foreign investors in Guyana.
He said that the people should let these foreign investors recognize that their investment could be in jeopardy. The people should let the investors know, too, that the police no longer protect the citizens.
And we should start speaking to major businesses who are investing in Guyana to reassess their investment in Guyana. All of us will suffer, but at least the prospect of that investment being tempered will bring the government to its senses about how serious this situation is.
He said that there is documented evidence of such actions.
Back in the 80s, that what brought South Africa to its senses wasn't the fact that there were acts of violence on the street, though that might have had an impact. It was the call for the economic boycott of South Africa. And I remember being a student where the student bodies had decided they were not buying South African products.
Mr. Hughes said that one must go after the money if the citizens' rights are to be protected.
The people who invest in this country, if they want to invest in the country and support a government that has a police force that is condoning the killing of its citizens, one, by policemen, and two, where the police appear to be involved in the cover-up of a homicide, then your investment cannot be guaranteed as safe.
Former Minister of Public Security Kamraj Ramjatan said that during the tenure of the coalition, the British invested in the security system. Recommendations were made for the improvement of the police.
And I have asked Mr. Ben, the Prime Minister, and a number of other persons also who constitute members of what we call the Parliamentary Security Committee, which only once held a meeting in Parliament and never thereafter held any. So you can't get questions answered.
In addition, the government has shelved all the recommendations, according to Ramjatan.
It has gotten the wrath of the British High Commissioner because they spent over £3 million on that set of reforms, to the extent of putting it on paper and now to implement. And we had indicated by this time the oil monies are going to be the implementing finance source for executing on those recommendations. Why the government has not done the implementation beats me.
Yep. There you have it, folks. There you have it. Serious consideration. That's on the ballot too. Justice for Adriana on the ballot. The conduct of the Guyana Police Force on the ballot. Right? The conduct of the government, the indigenous communities, that's on the ballot as well, folks. That's going to do it for us at this end. That's our time, good folks. And that's our program. Stay safe. We're going to see you guys right back here on our next broadcast. Yeah, a lot of stuff on the ballot, folks. A lot of stuff on the ballot. Make sure, folks, you got your ID card, you're registered. Please and thank you. And everything else is intact. We're going to see you guys in the next one. Take care. Have a great rest of the evening. Most of you guys are off to some other shows. We commend all of them. Mark and Rick Fred, if they're on this evening, we commend each and every one of them to the other shows you might be heading off to. You're heading home, you're heading to work. Be safe. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Stay safe. Stay safe.